So my problem was all the students were lacking the necessary social and academic skills to be successful at each grade level. And we have a large number of students who receive specially designed instruction for their deficits. We're in a low SES school as well, and 22% of our kids are receiving specially designed instruction for their academic and social deficits. Our most high needs disability is autism that we're currently servicing. So again, like the social deficits were a big deal for my kids, and that negatively impacted their learning, behavior, and academic performance. My students already have difficulty learning in the general ed setting as the same way as their peers, so I needed something that was innovative to help keep them motivated and engaged in learning, and also a platform to teach their social skills. So I chose to incorporate the Tigley and Osmo learning systems in the game and games in my classroom to help improve the social and academic skills. For the grant, I bought an iPad. I got the Tigley learning system, which was the words, the shapes, and numbers. And then I got a ton of Osmo, and this was by far the kids' favorite. There was a pizza game, there's coding blocks, there's tanagrams, word tiles, numbers, a bunch of dry erase boards a bunch of games for the dry erase board, and also a Hot Wheel game as well. I implemented this in the resource room with all K through 5 of my students. I made it part of my instruction as the academic, and also I did it as a reward system for the good behavior and also meeting some of their goals. Because of this grant, I saw an increase in turn taking, following directions, working as a team, winning and losing. I had a lot of kids that if they lost a game or if they didn't get their way, they would cry and pounce, stomp off, and get angry. So, we were able to teach those skills. What happens when we win or lose? And, like in the beginning, we had to do, this is what you say, good job. You say, try again. Or, and then you can see like towards the end, like they're giving each other high fives and the one little boy with his arms up at the beginning of the year, he was underneath tables and he would never even come out from the table. And then also it helped with conversation skills. The monster one right there in that top right-hand corner, the monster would ask him a question and like you would just hear the kids, they would respond and things like that. And too, with the pizza, they had to wait on customers, imaginary customers in the game as well. And the great thing too is, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but even if they were choosing the games, they were still learning in those, and they kind of thought that they were just playing. So I use it as the reward system as well. So like I said, they could choose a game for their good behavior, and also if they got an 80% or above on their assignments. So they couldn't just rush through their assignments, and so a lot of them were meeting their goals as well. And I also saw a decrease in non-educational rewards. So many of my kids, like all they wanted to do was watch YouTube if they, for their reward time. And one of my kids with autism, he always wanted to watch robot videos. And so he would watch them and that would increase his flapping. And so then he would be completely overstimulated when he would go back into the classroom. And then that would sometimes cause bad behavior and things like that as well. So instead, he found out that he could draw robots, and there was actually robots in the gallery, and he could take pictures of them. And so that was one of the things that he asked for all the time. And there was also less of a focus on food rewards, the treasure box. So it also saved me some money too. The academic portion of it, I'm still learning that there are so many more academic uses for these. My favorites was the word tiles. It's up there in the top right hand and the bottom left hand too. So I could put vocabulary words in there, there's sight words in there, there's spelling words in there, and I compare pictures with them. And there was also a whole library online too that were already made, and then I could upload my own as well. And it was nice too that you can differentiate based on ability levels, and the more you got right, the harder they would get as well, and it would take away some of the hints. In that bottom, again, there's the monster. Again, that was the following directions, stories. They could do settings. They can have choices on there of what to draw, and then like that was with their vocabulary as well. And so they would have to draw the settings to stories, and then they could retell a story for me as well. Oh, and it also handwriting skills and fine motor skills. There was things that you could pull up there with the alphabet, letters, and numbers. And like I said, I teach kindergarten all the way up to 5th grade, so a lot of my kids did need that instruction with handwriting and letters and numbers as well. How I would refine it, like I said, I am still learning all the uses for it now. My kids can kind of tell me more about them than I know. But another iPad would be wonderful. It would be ideal just so that way I can have more than one going. I actually had an extra base, and the top part is just like a little mirror, and so I was able to scrounge up some other iPads and have more than one going in my room, and that's helped. I'd like to do a personal library for each student on the Osmo Word game, and to reinforce the menu, use it as a menu on the kids' behavior sheets as well. I wasn't a big fan of the Tiggly learning system. I think it may have been too basic for some of the kids, and I also had to buy a lot of those apps. So I've not used that one as much as the Osmo. Does anybody have any questions?